Hi everybody and welcome back to Galway City Physiotherapy. Myself and Cliodhna are going to go through a level 1 Pilates today. So let's get started. We'll start first of all with a quick warm up. So we've gone through a video before, warm up and mobility. If you feel you want to do that just to get a bit more, do and come back to us. So we'll just do a nice quick one here to get started. Starting with our roll downs, we're going to tuck the chin into the chest, rounding down the shoulders, sliding the hands down the front of the legs, reaching right down towards the toes. Good. Nice and slowly rolling back up. So again, we're thinking of the vertebrae in the spine, one vertebrae at a time, stacking up as we come back up. Head is last to come up and let the shoulders sink. Good. And again, tuck the chin into the chest, rounding down. Try and go that little bit further this time. Good. Deep breath in and out, and slowly rolling back up again. Good. One last time. Reaching right down, this time going that little bit further again and holding for a little bit longer. Perfect. Deep breaths in and out, holding for 3, 2, 1. And slowly coming back up. Perfect. Good. Hands onto the low back. We're going to push the hips forward, leaning back. Good. And coming forward. And again. Good. Coming forward. One last time. I'm going to hold that stretch. Again, holding for 3, 2, 1. And relaxing. Perfect. Hands down by your side. We're going to go into our side bend. So sliding down to the left. Perfect. Keeping the body nice and straight. Don't tip forward. And coming up and down to the right. Perfect. Watching where the fingers are going along the leg. So as we come down a second time, reach a little bit further. Good. Coming up. And then last time down to the right. Get that stretch along the left side of the body. Perfect. Hands onto the hips. We're going to do big circles. Good. Changing direction, going the opposite way. Good. And relaxing the hips. Popping the right foot out onto the toes and drawing big circles with the knee. Good. Going the opposite direction. Perfect. And bring the 2 feet hip width apart. Swapping over onto the left toes. Good. Drawing big circles with the left knee. And change direction, going the opposite way. Good. And bring the foot back. Brilliant. Popping the hands on tops of the shoulders, elbows up. Perfect. Twisting around, looking around to the right. Good. Coming forward and around. Good. And once more. Good. Coming forward and around to the left. Great. And relaxing down the hands at the shoulders, dropping the chin to the right shoulder. Good. Trying not to draw up the shoulders, let them drop down. Good. And coming forward, across to the left. Perfect. Coming forward to the right. Good. And one last time to the left. Good. From here, drop down the chin. Good. Doing big circles at the head and neck. And coming back down. Good. Once more, coming back around to the right. And then last one, coming back to the left. Perfect. Relaxing the head. We're going to stretch out the legs now. So lie back down onto our mats into our crook lying position. So slight bend in the knees. Soles of the feet on the mat. Hands out to the side. We're going to drop both knees down to the left. Good. Trying to get those knees right down towards the ground. Getting a stretch through the spine. Lifting the knees up. And dropping both knees down to the right. Good. Coming up. Once more, down to the left. Good. Coming up and down to the right. Good. And coming up. We're going to hug the left knee into the chest. Holding nice and tight. Taking in deep breaths in and out. Bring the knee across the chest towards the right shoulder. Good. And relaxing the left foot back down onto the mat. Same now with the right. Hug the right knee into the chest. Good. Bring the knee across the chest towards the left shoulder. And relaxing. Good. We're going to hold on to the back of the left thigh. And as we bring the leg right up towards the ceiling. Good. Pointing the toes away and down. Away. Down. One last time. Away and down. Good. Lowering down the left foot. Same with the right. Straighten the leg right up. Pointing the toes away and down. Away. Down. Away and down. Good, lowering down the right foot. Last one now, we're going to hug the 2 knees into the chest and just rock from side to side. Good, deep breaths in and out, letting the muscles all relax, feeling a nice stretch through the glutes. Perfect, dropping down the feet one foot at a time. Good, we're going to get started now with our positioning on the mat. So starting off, I want you thinking of your breathing in and out, taking nice deep breaths. I don't want you to brace and hold your breath throughout any of these exercises, so keep the breathing flowing. We're thinking of our ribs, so as we take a deep breath in, let those ribs expand. If you want to pop the hands onto the ribs, you get a feel for how when we take a deep breath in, you'll feel the ribs widen up and get a little bit deeper. Good, and as we exhale, they sink back in. Good, so allow for that movement as you breathe in, lifting the ribs up. Good, and breathing down. Now while we're on the mat, I want you to think of let those ribs sinking down. So if you feel for the back of the ribs, I want you to imagine that those ribs are melting into the mat. Good, and that there's contact with the ribs onto the mat the whole time. So from there, we're going to move down into the pelvis. What I want you to do is make a diamond shape out of your hand. So 2 index fingers together, 2 thumbs together, popping it onto the hip bone. So the balls of the thumbs or the heels of the thumbs are on the hip bones, 2 index fingers pointing down towards the pubic bone, and 2 thumbs by the belly button. Good. So here we're going to try or find our pelvis neutral position. So what I want you to do is we're rolling the pelvis forward and rolling the pelvis back. So just kind of dissociate the movement there from the rest of the body. So as you can see, Cliodhna here is rolling the pelvis forward. Good. No exaggerated movements through the spine. So this is just coming from the low back pelvis area. So rolling forward, I want you to imagine that there's a marble in that diamond, and you're trying to roll the marble back now towards the belly button, and then rolling forward towards the pubic bone. So as we roll back, we're posteriorly tilting our pelvis. And then as we roll forward, we're anteriorly rotating the pelvis. Good. So we'll just do them about 2 or 3 more times, just to feel that movement, rolling forward and back. Good. So the idea of this exercise is now to progress to where we can find our neutral position. So where our pelvis is in the most optimal position. So I want you to imagine that marble. It's not rolling forward and it's not rolling back. So what we want to do is get it nice and centered. So as you can see there, Cliodhna's hands, they're nice and flat. So if she was to tilt forward, you'd see the thumbs are rising up, and if she was to tilt back, her index fingers are rising up. So we're imagining that the index fingers are pointing down, out, through the toes, and the thumbs are nice and flat along the belly button. Good. So this is our optimal position here for our pelvis. We want to keep this pelvis in this position throughout all our exercises. So what I want you to do from here straight, where we're imagining that there's a string between the lowest rib and the hip bone on both sides, and we're going to tie those strings now and make sure that they will stay in line. Okay, so from here we're going to work on concentrating, keeping this centering position. So we've done our pelvic tilts. Now we want to activate the muscles there. So if you get your 2 index fingers and just palpate or feel for those hip bones. Good. So the bony prominence around our hip. I want you to move the fingers in an inch. Good. And then down slightly. Good. So push the fingers in there. We're right over the muscles that we want to activate here. So from here, I want you to imagine that you're drawing your belly button in away from the waistline of your jeans. You should feel a small bit of a contraction underneath the fingertips. Good. If that's not working for you, imagining that you have a belt wrapped around here, nice tight belt or corset, and we're buttoning up from the lowest button, nice and slowly. We're thinking of the pelvic floor muscles here as well. So we're buttoning up from the lowest button and coming right up the way up towards the belly button. Good, so we should feel a little bit of a contraction. If not, even from here, I want you to even slightly knock the head forward. If we lift the head slightly up off the mat, you might feel a bit of a pressure as the muscles push up against the 2 index fingers. Good, are you feeling that, Cliodhna? Mm-hmm. Good, perfect. So this is the contraction we want to have throughout our exercise as well. These muscles are going to help keep that pelvis in neutral position and allow for the rest of the muscles to work. the more stability we have through the center, it's like our powerhouse. So we're channeling all the power from here, and then kind of working then with the legs and arms to challenge it even more. Okay, so as I was saying before, we're trying to make sure that the pelvis is going to stay in neutral position. We're melting the ribs down to the mat, watching our head position. So we don't want the chin poking out in front. If you find the head is poking out or the chin is poking out in front, you might want to pop a little pillow back behind the low back. So Cliodhna, if you just bring your head back slightly so that the chin is pointing right up towards the ceiling. Yeah, good. So if you feel you're kind of in that bit of a position, you can pop a little pillow or folded up towel underneath the back of the head just to get that position. As you can see, Cliodhna now has readjusted so that her chin is a little bit more level. Good. So this is our optimal position. Here we're going to challenge the core a little bit more. So we're going to use our arms, add in an upper limb movement. So I'm going to get you to lift the two hands up towards the ceiling. So palms facing each other. Good. From here, we're going to lower the left hand down overhead, down towards the floor. Good. Keeping that contraction that we're talking about with the muscles, keeping the ribs down, and then lifting the left hand back up. Good. We're going to do the same with the right. Good. Deep breaths in and out and coming back up. Good. So what we're making sure is, you can keep going there, Cliodhna, so nice and slowly, slow and controlled, taking deep breaths as we go in and out. What we're making sure is that we're not lifting up through the low back, watching the low back, so we don't want a big arch in the back, and we don't want the ribs to come up either. So as you come back up, I'm going to get you to do it now, Cliodhna, as if you don't have the contraction at all. Lower down that left hand, allow for the pelvis to roll forwards. As you can see, there's a big arch in her back, and the back is coming up off the mat and coming back slowly. Good. I'm going to get you to do it again now with the right. So we see there's a big arch. Good. No activation of the muscles. Good. And the movement then, we're just letting the spine go with the arm. Perfect. So starting now, contraction. Think of those springs. As you lower the left hand down overhead, they're going to tighten, 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 and slowly come back up. Good. And with the right, one last time. Deep breaths in and out. Perfect. And coming back up. Going to make it a little bit harder now by bringing the two hands down overhead. So think of, hold that tension. Try not to let the back come up off the mat. If you find the back is coming up off the mat, don't go down so far with the arms. Let's just readjust this slightly. Good. So if you find to the point there, if that's as far as you can go before the back comes off the mat, that's plenty. And coming back up. Otherwise, we're not getting the activation that we want out of this exercise, and then the exercise is going to be pointless. So getting to the point where the muscles are still being activated. If they deactivate by bringing the hands right down towards the ground, but we're not working them at all. Good. One last time. Good. And coming up. Good. How did that feel, Cliodhna? Good. So from here, we're going to add in more arm movement. So as you drop, I'm going to get you to bring the two hands down overhead. As you drop them down, I want you to open them out. I bring them back down around in by your side. So we're making a D shape. Good. And lifting up. Good. Deep breath in, deep breath out as we drop the hands down, stretching out. Watch for the ribs. Good. Coming up. So we're going to do about 8 to 10. We're on 2. Good. Keep those ribs melted down. Relaxing the head, making sure we're not going tight through the neck. Head and neck stays nice and relaxed. Perfect. Good. We'll go one last time. Perfect. And relaxing. Good. Relaxing down the hands. We'll just relax the pelvis again. So we can do a few little pelvic tilts, rolling forward and back there. Let the muscles relax. Good. So from here, we're going to relax the hands. We're going to work the legs. So same again, trying to activate the center and move through the limbs. So hands down by your side. Again, engage those muscles. We're going to get our pelvis in neutral position. And from here, sliding the left heel out straight. Good. And coming back up. And the same with the right. Perfect. So just watching out here again, as we stretch the leg out, the pelvis is probably going, or the hip bones are going to want to tip forward. So we're going to go into that anterior tilted position. This is what's going to get our muscles to work really hard. As I was saying with the arms, if you find that the back is going to come up off the mat, you're probably stretching too far out with the legs. So we don't have to go all the way out so that the leg is nice and straight. Go into that point where you feel it's just hardest to hold that neutral position and then sliding back in. Good. Once more to each side. Good. Going up and out and in. Good. And relaxing. Brilliant. So we're going to progress to our next position, which is our tabletop position. We're going to do one leg at a time. So with the right leg this time, I want you to take a deep breath in, clean and deep breath out now, and hold that contraction as you lift the left foot up, right foot up off the floor. Good. And back down. Hold that contraction. Don't let the pelvis roll forward. Good. So as we lower down the leg, the weight of the leg is going to want to again let the back is going to want to tip forward. So again, we're going to stick with the right leg again. Deep breath in, deep breath out as we lift up. Good. This is our tabletop position, and lowering down again. Perfect. I'm going to get you to do about 2 or 3 more of those, Cliodhna. Good. So watching for the key points here. We've 90 degrees at the knees, 90 degrees at the hips. The knee joint is coming right up over the hip joint. As we lift up, I want to imagine sinking that leg back down into the hip. Good. We'll go one last time with the right leg. Perfect. And down. We're going to go with the left leg. So think of scooping the toe up as we lift the leg up and down. Good. Up and down. Perfect. You can even pop your hands onto the hip bones or keep that diamond shape of the hands on the pelvis so you can feel if the pelvis is moving at all. Good. Perfect. That 90-90 position of our tabletop position. Good. One last one. Perfect. And relaxing. Good. We're going to hook the knees into the chest and just rock from side to side. Feel okay, Cliodhna? Okay, brilliant. So, from here, we're going to progress into our 2-leg tabletop position. So, starting off, we're going to we'll get our neutral position of the pelvis, ribs down. We're going to lift the right leg up again into tabletop. Good. And hold that there as we lift the left leg up. Good. Letting the left leg down. And then allow the right leg to come down. Perfect. We'll do the same now, lifting the left leg first. Good. Hold that. Keep the control as we lift the right leg. Perfect. Breathing in and out, lowering one leg at a time. Good. And alternating sides. So lifting up. Perfect. Good. And lowering down and down. Good. So again now with the tabletop position, making sure we don't bring that knee over the hip joint so it's coming more closer to the chest, or bringing it further away from the hip joint. We want to make sure that it is over that, so we're imagining the knee is sinking down into the hip and using those muscles to hold it there. Good. We'll go one last time. Perfect. And relax. Good. We're going to add in the arm and leg movements together. So lifting the hands up towards the ceiling again, palms facing each other. Good. Straight away thinking of melting those ribs down. If there was a 50-pound note or a 50-euro note underneath the ribs, you want to make sure that nobody could pull it out from underneath you. So we're going to lower the hands down overhead, and as we do so, we're going to slide the right heel out straight. Good. Control and slowly coming back up again. Brilliant. And the left leg. Breathing in and out. Good. And coming up. Perfect. If you want, you can even pop one hand onto the ribs. So onto the opposite hand. If we pop the right hand onto the left ribs, as we lower the left hand down overhead, you'll be able to feel if the ribs come up and flare. Good. So you're kind of getting that little bit of feedback to see if they're moving at all. Good. And watching for the low back, not to allow it to lift up off the mat. Good. And we can add in our D-shaped movements here. So as we bring the hands down overhead, opening up nice and wide with the hands and coming up. Perfect. And swapping legs. Deep breaths in and out. Perfect. And good. And relaxing. Good. We can make this a little bit harder now by lifting the right leg up into tabletop position. Good. Holding that there as we bring the hands down overhead, sliding the left heel out. Sorry. Good. Bending the right knee. Good. Lowering down. We're going to lift the left knee up. Perfect. And sliding the hands overhead, kicking the leg out straight. Control. And lifting back up with the hands and lowering down the foot. Good. We're going to lift the two legs up into tabletop position. So again, one at a time. Up with the right, then with the left. Hold that there. And drop the hands down overhead. We'll go straight into our D shape as we bring the hands out. Good. Lifting up. Back, down, and around. Good. We'll do 2 to 3 more of these and then have a stretch. Good. Remember the breathing in and out throughout. Good. One last one. Perfect. And hug the knees into the chest and rock from side to side. Brilliant. Perfect. So hopefully you felt a bit of a contraction there with the core muscles. We're going to pop around now onto our 4-point kneeling, so onto our hands and knees. Good. So hands in under the shoulders, knees under the hips. We're going to keep the back nice and soft, and from here we're going to do a nice stretch into our cat to camel. So tuck the chin into the chest, round up the back. Good. Tucking the tailbone and under, and watching that we don't transfer the weight forward and back. Shoulders stay over the hands and hips over the knees. Dropping down the back as we bring the head up towards the ceiling. Good. Nice big arch in the back. Once more. Tuck the chin into the chest, round up the back, stretch between the shoulder blades, and let it all drop down as we bring the head up. Good. And relaxing. So from here with our cat to camel, we can see that we were rolling the tailbone forward and back. We were doing our pelvic tilts. So I want you to practice the pelvic tilts in this all 4 position. So think of rolling the pelvis forward. Try not to dissociate, so it's just the pelvis rather than we're moving through the shoulders as well. So rolling back, so we're thinking of tucking the tailbone underneath us. So I want you to imagine that you have a paintbrush coming out your backside, and we're painting up and down the wall. So a nice strip going up and then a nice strip going down. Good. So rolling forward, so you'll see the arch in the back here with Cliodhna as this is our pelvis roll forward. Rolling the pelvis back, tucking the tailbone under. Good. And now from there we're going to find that neutral position where her back's nice and flat. Good. Holding that position, again we're thinking of contracting or activating those muscles to hold this pelvis in neutral position. I want you to imagine that you have a tray of glasses across the back there, wine glasses, so you're not to spill a drop. And from here I'm going to get you to lift the right hand up and forward. Good. And down. And we're going to go with the left hand. Good. So no movement through the back. Good. And down. Perfect. Lifting the left. Oh, sorry. Right. We'll alternate the sides. Good. So as you can see here, Cliodhna has a nice flat back. No movement, no arching. Again, with the arm movements, with the leg movements, the back is likely to want to move or want to tip forward, especially in this all 4s position. So try and keep it nice and flat. We'll have to give Cliodhna a bottle of wine after this. So your balance is good. Once more to each side. Good. and relax. And we're going to go into the legs now. So with the left leg, slide that toe out, nice and long with the leg, trying to lengthen it, keeping the toe on the mat. Good, and bending the knee, coming back in. Good, we're going to go with the left. Perfect, and back in. Good. And I'm going to get you to relax those muscles for a minute, Cliodhna, and let the back move as you bring the leg out. So we can see that movement. Good, so the back will want to arch and come forward. Also making sure we're not transferring the weight across from leg to leg as we lift the leg back. So activating the muscles again. Good, no movement through the hips. The movement is literally just coming from the legs. Good, one last one to each side. Perfect. Good. And relaxing from here, sitting back down onto the heels. Stretch the hands out in front. Good. Letting the forehead drop down to the mat. Good. Taking 5 deep breaths in and out. Good. And coming back up onto the hands and knees. We're going to make that one a little bit harder now with the legs. So straight away, thinking in a neutral position of the pelvis. Good. This time what I want you to do is keep the knee bent. We're going to lift the right leg up so that the sole of the foot is pointing up towards the ceiling. So bringing the leg back, but keeping the knee bent as we lift the leg up and down. Good. And with the right. Left. Good. Up and down. So again, watching for that low back. The higher we go with the leg, the more likely the back is going to want to tip forward and arch. Yeah, so we don't want that going on at all. Control through the core, lift up, lifting up to that point where you feel it's about to tip forward, and that's plenty. Coming back down. Good, deep breaths in and out. Good. So from here we're even activating the glutes as we lift up, squeezing through the glutes, the muscles in the bum. Good. Perfect. Keeping the back nice and straight. Think of the tray glasses. Good. One last one to each side. Perfect. One last one. Good. And relax. We're going to advance this a little bit more, going into our leg pull and prone. So, tucking the toes in underneath you, Cliodhna. Good. Hands over the, shoulders over the hands, knees over the hips. We're going to keep the head nice and straight, so try not to let it drop down. Imagine it as a torch to the forehead. It's just shining down onto the mat. And from here, take a deep breath in, deep breath out. We're going to just lift up the knees, let the knees hover over the mat just an inch and back down. Good. So, activating through the core muscles. The back isn't moving at all. We're just lifting up through the legs, lifting up. Let them hover and down. Good. And again, lifting up. Perfect. And down. So we're keeping that back nice and straight. One last one. Lifting up. Hold and down. Good. And relaxing the back and relaxing the feet. Perfect. Sitting back down. Good. We're going to change our position now. So we're going to lie back around onto our backs into our crook lying position. Good. So with the knees bent, we're going to work now through the abdominal muscles. Our first one is our sit-up, so our abdominal prep. What I want you to do is keep the hands by your side, just lift them up slightly off the ground so that they're just hovering. And from here, what I want you to imagine is you're peeling the spine up off the mat, reaching the hands down towards the toes into a little sit-up. Good. And then slowly coming back down. Now what I want you to do is making sure you don't lead with the head. So keep the ears in line with the shoulders. This movement is coming from the pelvis again, rolling up from the abdominal muscles up towards the upper body. Good. And slowly rolling down. So we're thinking of a chain again, or a string of beads. So we're imagining that Cliodhna's head is the first bead that lifts off as we pull the string up. and one more bead and another bead, lift up, and then as we come back down, it's lowering down. Watching for when we lower back down that we don't lift that back up again. So keeping that back nice and flat on the mat, engaging through the core muscles. Good, we'll go one last one, clean, and lifting up, deep breath in and out, and slowly lower down. Good, feel okay? Perfect. I'm going to get you to relax the hands down now. Super. From here, we're going to pop the right hand up by the ears. So fingertips by the ears, bending the elbows. Good. With the left hand, we're going to lift it up off the mat again, just slightly so that it's hovering. And from here, we're going to go into our oblique prep. So we're going working the muscles at the side of the or abdominal muscles to the side of the body. From here, what I want you to do is we're lifting up first, and then a slight little twist. So we're going across towards the opposite knee and coming back and down. Good. So I don't want a big twist through the body. We're lifting up first and then adding a twist. So thinking we're in an hour corridor. We can't bend to the left or right, sorry, and lowering back down. We can't bend to the left or to the right. So we're lifting up and then adding a twist. Good. Breathing in and out throughout. Good. If we can, taking a deep breath as we're down. Deep breath. Exhale as we come up. Good. Deep breath in from there and deep breath out as we lower. Good. One last one. Deep breath in. Deep breath out to lift up and across. Deep breath in. Deep breath out to lower. Good. And we're going to swap hands. So bringing the right hand down, left hand out to the side. Good. And from there, lifting up and twisting across. Good. And back down. And relaxing again, making sure not to lead with the head, so let that head relax back. Good. And back and down. Good. Deep breath in, deep breath out to lift, twist. Deep breath in, deep breath out to lower, back down. Good. We'll go one last one. Up, cross, back and down. Good. And relaxing. Just stretching there. We're going to lift the hands up overhead, straightening out the legs. Let the back relax. If it wants to come up off the mat, that's no problem. Good. Perfect. Push through the heels so that the toes are pointed up towards the face. Really lengthen through the body. Let all the muscles relax. Feel a nice stretch. Good. Pushing away through the toes. Perfect. Deep breaths in and out. And again, push through the heels, toes up towards the face. One last one, pushing the toes away. Good. And relaxing. Good. So from here, we're going to work the lower abdominal muscles. We're going to do our scissors. So back into crook lion position, hands down by your side. We're going to lift the left foot up into or left leg up into tabletop position. Good. And then lifting the right leg up. Good. Holding this tabletop position, we're going to do toe taps. So we're tapping one toe down towards the mat and lifting up and swapping over, alternating the legs and up. Good. So again, we're thinking of our pelvis in neutral position straight away. If you want to pop the hands onto the pelvis, you can. I'm thinking of that diamond shape, just making sure that it's not going to roll forward and it's not rolling back. So back is nice and flat on the mat. Think of those springs between the ribs and the hips or the bones. Good. Nice and tight. The tension increases as we lower the foot down. Good. If you find it quite hard, pop one foot down onto the mat, so into a crook lion position. Good. And just do toe taps with one foot. Good. So about 8 to 10, and then we can swap over. To make it a little bit harder, we can lift the legs up, both legs into tabletop position. Good. And from there, alternating the legs. Good. To make it a little bit easier, we can bring the toe taps, or where we tap the toe, in closer towards the bum. To make it harder, we can tap the toes further away. But watching out, the further we tap the toes away, the more likely it is the back is going to lift up off the mat. And when it does lift up off the mat, well, we're defeating the purpose of the exercise. Good. Perfect. We can make this a little bit harder by simply upping the tempo. So as you tap with one toe, the other foot is going. Good. Or the other leg is already moving. So tap, 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 tap. Deep breaths in and out. Good. Go for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And hugging those knees into the chest. taking a deep breath. Good. Rocking from side to side, breathing in and out. Good. Perfect. One last abdominal muscle exercise. Back down into a crook lying position. Hands out to the side. This is called our hundreds. So hands alongside the body. We're just going to lift them up again so that they hover. Perfect. And from here, we can keep our head on the mat and just wave the hands up and down. So up and down. Perfect. We can make it a little bit harder by rolling up into the abdo prep we did before. Good. And coming up. So pulsing, breathing in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And relaxing. Good. So the idea of this exercise is to get to a count of 100 with the hands waving up and down. So what we'll do with Cliodhna, we'll go for 50 first of all, okay? So I'll break it down into 225. So we're going to, are you happy enough to lift up, or would you rather stay on your, with the head back down? Say it again.
Happy to lift up.
Oh, happy to lift up. Great. So we'll make it a little bit harder. So from here, we're going to lift up. Good. Pulse for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Good. 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relaxing. Good. Deep breath in and out. We can drop the knees down to the left. Just have a little bit of stretch to relax from that.
I was taking a break there.
Good. Yeah. Slacking. Good. Perfect. We're going to move on to our side now. So lying onto your right side there, Cliodhna, facing off. I want you to lengthen through the body so the body's nice and straight. If you want to get a pillow or cushion, you can pop it in under the head, or you can, as Cliodhna has done there, she's folded her elbow or bent her elbow and popped it in under her head. So body nice and straight. So shoulder, hip, heel are in line. Good. From there, we're going to bend the knees by bringing the feet back towards or behind us, so back towards the wall. Good. So without moving or bending the hips are nice and straight. So now we have a straight line from the shoulder, hip and knee. So starting off with this exercise, we're going to lift the top leg up slightly, just so it's hovering over the top or the lower leg. Good. And bringing the knee forward. Good. And back. Perfect. So for extra support, we can pop the hand down onto the mat. To make it a little bit harder, we can pop the hands onto the hips. So from here, we're making sure that the hip bones are staying one on top of the other. So as we bring the leg forward, we're making sure that hip doesn't roll back. And as we bring the leg back, we're making sure the hip doesn't roll forward. Good. So controlling, thinking of sucking or zipping up as if we have a pair of jeans on. We're zipping up the zip. Or we're thinking of that corset. We're buttoning through the lowest button up the way, using those deep core muscles. Good. We'll go one last time forward and relaxing. Good. You can give the outside of the hip a little bit of a rub there. Did you feel that? Good. Now we're going to go into a recline. So we're going to bend the hips slightly, bring the knees forward. Good. So slight bend in the knees, slight bend in the hips. Keep the heels together. We're going to lift the top knee up and down. Good. So it's important in this exercise that we're keeping the heels together. We're just lifting the knee up and back. Again, watching for those hips. So I want that top hip over the bottom hip. No rolling forward, no rolling back. Controlling that now through our deep abdominal muscles and our pelvic floor muscles. Good. So making sure they're engaged. Again, we can have the hand down on the mat for extra support. We want to make it a little bit harder, reduce the stability, pop the hands onto the hip. Good. And we'll get a bit of feedback as well by having the hand on the hip, just to make sure that it's not rolling forward or back. Good. Deep breaths in and out. And the harder we squeeze the heels together, the more contraction we're going to get through our glutes. Good. We'll go one last one. and relaxing. Good. Perfect. Brilliant. While I have you here in this position, we'll just do a quick stretch. So popping the hands out in front for me there, Cliodhna. Good. Letting the head relax. And lifting that top hand up, back and around. Good. And coming forward. Good. Just with the top leg then, I'm going to get you to bend it forward so it drops down, or the knee drops down onto the floor. Good. So we'll get a stretch in that glute and then lifting up and back. Perfect. And coming forward. Brilliant. We're going to swap sides. Back to our first exercise. So nice and long through the body. Body's nice and straight. We're going to kick the feet back. So just bending through the knees. We have a straight line from shoulder, hip to knee. And then from there we're lifting that top leg, letting it hover, and then bending forward through the hip. Good. And back. Perfect. So controlling again. Don't let those hips move. Good. Super. Good. Breathing in and out. Good, we'll go one last one after this. One more, perfect. And relaxing. Good. Perfect. We'll go into our clams now, so it's like bending the hips now. Bring the knees forward. Good. We're going to keep the heels together. And from there, lifting the knee up and down. Good. Up and down. Good. Really pushing those heels together. Good. So we should feel the muscles at the back of the hip working and the muscles on the outside of the hip. Good. Deep breaths in and out. Keeping that pelvis in neutral position. Good. And go two more. One last one. Good. And relaxing. Good. We're going to bring the hands out in front. Letting the head relax. Good. Top hand is going to lift up, back, and down. Good. Coming forward. Letting that top knee come forward, down onto the ground. And from there, lifting up, back, down. Good. And coming forward. Perfect. We're going to stretch down now. So popping onto your front there for me, Cliodhna. Good. You can pop the hands in under the forehead. We're going to lift the heels up. Good. And then just dropping both feet down to the left. Good. Allow the hips to come up. We're going to twist through the spine. Let the weight of the legs allow for that twist. Good. Coming up and dropping both feet down to the right. Perfect. And coming up. We're going to lower down the right foot. With the left hand, grab onto the left foot. I'm going to pull the leg in close to the chest. Or chest is me, to the bum. Good. Try not to let the hips come up. Push the hips bones right into the mat. Good. And relax. And we're going to swap over, grabbing the right foot. Good. So we should feel this nice stretch to the front of the leg, front of the thigh. Perfect. And relaxing, straightening out the legs. Good. I'm going to get you to pop the hands beside the head, forehead down on the mat. And from here, we're going to lift up, lifting the head up towards the ceiling, rolling up. Good. So we're getting a nice stretch, the abdominal muscles. Good. And lowering down. If you feel you want to get more of a stretch, you can straighten out through the arms. So if you want to bring the hands forward a little bit more there, Cliodhna, and you can straighten the arms as we lift up. Making sure to keep those hips on the mat. Good. Deep breath in and out and lowering down. Good. We're going to go one last time, lifting up. This time I want you looking over the left shoulder towards your right heel. Good. And coming forward, looking over your right shoulder towards the left heel. Good. And coming forward, lowering back down. Brilliant. We're going to lift up onto the hands and knees. From here, I'm going to get you to lift the right foot forward so it's outside of the right hand. Perfect. 2 hands onto the right knee as you come up the upper body. Good. And we're just leaning the hips forward, get a nice stretch the front of the left thigh and the left hip flexors. Good. We can reach the hands up towards the ceiling. Good. And relaxing. Perfect. Slightly leaning back with the hips as we kind of straighten out the right leg, getting a nice stretch through the hamstring. Good. We can slide the hands down towards the toes, pointing the toes up towards the face. Good. Just to add more of a stretch. Perfect. And coming back. Perfect. Popping the hands back down onto the mat. Now, from here, we're going to lift the left hand up and around up towards the ceiling. Good. And down. Lifting the right hand up towards the ceiling. Perfect. And down once more, lifting the left, deep breaths in and out. Good, and down, and last one. Perfect. Opening up and down. Good, we're going to swap over. Left foot is going to come up outside the left hand. Perfect. 2 hands on top of the knee. Good, and from there we're lifting up the body as we push the hips forward. Nice stretch the right hip and quad. Lifting the hands up overhead. Good. And lowering down. We're going to bring the hips back slightly as we stretch out the left, toes up towards the face. You can slide the hands down. Good. And relax and coming back. We're going to pop the hands back down onto the mat. Perfect. From here, lifting the right hand up and out. Good. And coming down, lifting the left hand. Perfect. One last one to each side. Following with the head. Good. Coming down. Perfect. And relaxing. Bringing the left foot back. Good. From here, we're going to tuck the toes in under. And we're going to lift the hips up by straightening the legs. Coming into our downward dog, bringing the head down. Good, getting a nice stretch. If you need to bend the knees in this, do, no problem. And coming back down, bending the knees, back down onto the mat. Good. We're going to lift up again one more time. Deep breath in and out, lifting up. Good. Feeling a nice stretch. If we can push the heels down into the mat, we'll get a stretch through the calves. Good. And relaxing back down. Good. Keeping those toes tucked in under. We're going to walk back with the hands and then coming up into standing. Good. Last stretch. We're going to go back to our roll downs again. So tuck the chin into the chest, rounding down the shoulders as we slide the hands down the front of the legs. Good. Let the arms drop. Let them swing from side to side. And nodding the head, or shaking the head I should say. Good, nice and slowly rolling back up. We're going to keep going. Hands onto the low back, push the hips forward as we lean back. Perfect, one last time. Coming forward, reaching all the way down. Let the weight of the arms drop and let them swing from side to side. Perfect. Nice and slowly rolling back up. One last time. We're going to keep going. Coming right back. Perfect. And coming forward. And relaxing.
Thanks,
Good
guys.
job. Well done.